Welcome back, and today we're gonna be talking about ID Invaded. And let me just say, this episode was fire. So, like always, let's just jump into it. Okay, so episode 2 of ID Invaded opens up with Fukada, the drill murderer, the one, that drills holes into people's heads, and he himself has a hole in his head. Crazy mofo. Opens up with him pretty much talking to the police, saying how Sakaido pretty much convinced this dude to kill himself. And they kind of realize that, he's not a dumb person, he's smart, he has a high level IQ. So they try to put him into a well to see if he can do what Sakaido can do. And not he can go in there and he kind of looks around, but he dies a lot. And he's not as good as Sakaido. Like, you can't really put him in there and expect him to actually solve any crime. Maybe with some training, maybe with later episodes, he'll kind of join the same side as Sakaido. But we'll see. Kind of from the end of the episode, I don't see that going on. I think there's gonna be a bigger master plan happening. But we'll talk about that later. But first thing first, we actually get a new killer, and that dude is a grave digger, right? He gets, from my understanding, he gets girls or men or his victims, and pretty much buries them underground alive with a canister of oxygen and maybe a little bit of supplies, and kind of streams it live to people, and people will watch this. And it was an insane amount of people watching this. I think it got up to like 100,000, which I don't see why the police does not cut off the feed, right? Like, maybe he'll put up another one, but if they just keep cutting the feed, people wouldn't be able to see this. So I don't know why they didn't cut the feed. I feel like in the real world, that's something they would do. But the way that this person is killing people, it is, I mean, that has to be, it's definitely one of my biggest phobias. So just being buried alive and knowing that you might not get help, or he's 7-0 right now. I think he killed 7 people this way, and nobody has even found the actual killer or his intent to kill to go into his well. Because we figure out that in this episode, even though somebody used the same techniques as the gravedigger killer, we find out it's a copycat. But the way that Sakaido, the main character, finds out is pretty amazing. Like, this well was my favorite one so far from all the episodes in this anime. Like, it was just fire everywhere, explosions. And this well was the one that gave Sakaido like the biggest struggle. I mean, this dude was dying left and right. There was booby traps everywhere, bodies burned everywhere. Like, the whole animation and the whole atmosphere of this well was great. I loved it. Definitely one of my favorite wells in the whole anime so far. But Sakaido goes into the well and he sees the same girl that he sees in every one, Kaeru, and he tries to figure out why she burnt the way she is. And he goes through the whole well, and explosions is happening everywhere, buildings are moving, and he has to jump to get to the little girl that's the only person that he's seen that's alive. I mean, he struggles with this well. And we see the police is actually like, they just keep putting him back. They do give him a break here and there, and but they just keep putting him back. So I think this episode serves to show that Sakaido is like one of a kind. Like, his mental capacity, his mental like strength is like on a whole nother scale. Because Fukada, when they put him in a couple times, you can he knew that it would take a huge toll on his body. And he even made the comment that when Sakaido goes into the well and he comes back with like a lot of depression. Like, you can see how depressed he is from going into all these wells and looking into the criminals' minds and their thought process and all the victims that they're killing. I mean, that definitely has to give you some type of PTSD level, like insanity, right? Like, you're gonna go insane doing this, especially when Sakaido dies in the well and they inject him back in, and he does that until he finds the killer. So definitely Sakaido is a great strong character, but we actually learn a little bit more about him this episode. He's not all that good. Like, yes, he's the main character, but he's not like an all good character, right? Like, we don't know if he's doing all this to save the people that they're trying to save. He might be doing it for his own gains, like trying to find the killer that that killed his kids. Maybe they haven't found them yet, right? Like the one person they mentioned in episode 1, maybe that's the end goal for him. But we actually learned that he has killed or has driven 5 people to kill themselves. And you might argue, well, that he's not technically killing them, right? But I mean, you got to think, right, after he goes into these people's minds, he knows how their minds work. So if you add that to his like mental like intelligence and how like he can manipulate people, he's pretty much murdering these people. Like he's breaking them down to the point where they kill themselves, and he's done it 5 times. Now my thing is, the first time I get maybe, okay, that was an accident, but the second and third time, like, come on, the police would probably move him somewhere where he's just has no human contact, like, or just put him in solitary confinement where he just literally has no human contact. But then that would get into the whole like spiel of he might not try to help them anymore. You know what I mean? Because again, from this episode, we see that the only person that can do what Sakaido is doing is him himself. Like they even, nobody can do what he can do. So he's like one of a kind almost. So this episode, there was kind of like a good little plot twist at the end because, they do find it's a copycat. And, I didn't see that coming. Like, it was a little girl, and the live stream really wasn't a live stream. It was like a pre-recording, and they were making it seem like it was a live stream. Now, the victim in this episode, she kind of knew what was going on, so that makes me believe that she was watching the live stream before, like with the other victims, and then she fell prey to it herself by a copycat. Which it was kind of sad because it was a little girl. It wasn't like, like an adult or something. It was just a little girl. This killer pretty much was picking on this little girl. It was really like a sad death for her to go that way. Especially like, being locked inside like a barrel like that for days with little oxygen and food, just dying that way. Man, that was a rough death. Definitely love this episode. Really like the whole atmosphere of the well, like all the parts moving. Now, we'll say at the end, I think we got like a big little future like plot thing that's gonna happen because the what's the name? Honda Moshi, the assistant, the analyst, the one that got drilled in her head, episode 1. The one that she did it to herself so she can create a well and Sakaido could go in there and find the killer. That girl. She finds another character, Kusata, after they figure out the whole murder, who the murderer is, and they capture him. She sees this person and she's like, I remember you. And he was inside Fukada's well on the first episode. Like he was like one of the victims. And we see he also has that hole inside his, not inside, but like on his forehead. But he's not dead. He was just like a missing person. So that makes me believe that maybe this Kusata character is actually working with like the real killer, like the Fukada person that's in prison right now. And maybe they're gonna like plot like an escape and all these like killers. Because remember, we find out that on the first episode, somebody's behind the scenes, and he made contact with Fukada. So maybe that same person is the one that's gonna like, break them all out, and we'll see. But that definitely has me intrigued for the next episode. And remember, this is an original anime, right? No manga or anything. So there's nobody knows what's gonna happen. So far, loving the anime. Can't wait for the next episode. Like always, go ahead and subscribe. Leave me a like. Let me know what your thoughts were for this episode. And like always, I will see you on the next episode.